Hi, Mrs. Kendall's kindergartners. We're going to be doing an art project today to celebrate the beginning of spring. So a couple weeks ago, we ended the season of winter and we started the season of spring. And I am so excited about this for a couple of reasons. The first is I noticed that it's starting to stay brighter outside for longer. The sun is shining longer in the day, which means there's more time to play outside. The second thing that makes me really excited is I can start to hear the birds chirping in the air. When I look outside my window, I see flowers are blooming, the trees are budding, everything is coming back to life. Spring is a beautiful time of the year, and it's a lot to celebrate. So we're going to do that by creating an art project today to celebrate the start of spring and things that we're starting to see. We're starting to see grass that is green. We're starting to see the bugs come out of hiding. We're seeing the birds in the air, flowers growing. And so we're going to make this really fun art project that's called Spring Has Sprung. So there, as you can see, there's a couple of pieces that are three-dimensional. And then there's a couple pieces that are just flat. So I'm going to lead you through how to do this. I'm going to work with you. If at any time throughout the project I start to get too far ahead of you, please just pause the video and then start again when you're ready, okay? So I'm going to turn you down so you can see my work, and I'm going to tell you what you need to get out. So this might be a good time for you to pause if you don't already have your art supplies out. So out from your folder, you need to get out your packet of papers that looks like this. It has a blue paper, green, and a couple circles, and everything's paper clipped together. So I'm gonna leave this project out here so you can see it as well. Every once in a while I might move it off to the side. You also are going to need your crayons, so make sure that you have your pencil box out because you'll need a glue stick and also scissors for today. So go ahead, if you don't have those things out, get those out, pause my video, and then we'll start together. All right, for those of you who are ready, we are going to get started. So we are going to begin by doing the grass on our Spring Has Sprung project. So what I need you to do is take off the paper clip from your project to set that off to the side, and set these little circles off to the side as well. We'll need those in a little while, but not quite yet. All right, so we're gonna make our lawn of grass. To do that, we're gonna take our green rectangle and we are going to make fringe cuts all down one side of the rectangle. Now, it's really, really important that you do not cut all the way through your rectangle. Otherwise, you're not going to end up with a full piece. We are going to want our piece to be fully intact as we make those fringe cuts. So I'm going to do that with you. I have big scissors because I'm a big kid. I'm an adult, so I can have big scissors, but you need to have your little scissors. So I'm going to start making fringe cuts. I'm going to start and just cut down a little bit of the way. I'm just making small, tiny, tiny little cuts as I go. But you notice as I'm cutting, none of my pieces are falling off. Everything is still attached. That's what you want to do when you make fringe. So I'm going to keep doing this. You do it too. If I finish before you, you can just pause the video until you're ready, okay? Now I want you to notice I'm not making huge cuts, right? You see how little tiny my cuts are? I don't want you to make big, huge chunks. I want you to make little ones, okay? We're doing it all the way down one side of the paper only. And remember, none of our pieces should be falling off as we do this. All right, I'm through the end of mine. If you're not, go ahead and pause the video until you're ready. All right, so for those of us who are ready, we have our paper cut fringe all the way across. This next step is optional. You don't have to do it, but in order to make this look a little bit more like grass and less like a rectangle, I'm going to cut some of my pieces out from the fringe. To do that, I'm going to take my scissors, and this time some paper is going to fall. So make sure that you watch me first before you try so you don't ruin your rectangle. So I'm going to take my scissors at an angle, and I'm going to cut some angles out of my paper so that it looks like the grass is all different lengths. So watch me first, don't do yet. You see how I'm just turning my scissors and every once in a while I'm just making a little kind of a little angle cut. I'm changing the angle as I'm cutting. And do you see how it's starting to make different lengths? So if you'd like to do that, you can do that with me. If you do not want to, you do not have to. I'm just turning my scissors kind of back and forth, one side to the other. And I'm not cutting very much, just a little bit at a time, not very much. And I'm doing this just to make it look like my grass is not all the same length. Oftentimes grass looks pokey, so this is going to make my grass look kind of pokey. Okay. So now I have my grass, it's a little bit pokey. Again, this was an optional step, you don't have to do that part. Now, I want you to notice, I cut over my blue piece of paper and I have all these little tiny scraps. What I'm gonna do very carefully, I'm gonna move them all into the middle of my paper, and I'm gonna get up real quick and I'm gonna go recycle this so that I don't make a mess. I'll be right back. All right, I am back and I'm ready to go. So our next step is going to be to glue down our grass onto our blue paper. So I'm going to take out my glue stick and I am going to put a line of glue at the bottom of the green on the side that I did not cut. So I cut up here on the top. I don't want to do that on the, I want to put glue on the bottom. So I'm going to put just a little line of glue at the bottom, and then I'm going to turn that paper around and I'm going to put my grass all the way down to the bottom of my blue page. Now I want to make it line up as best as I can on the blue so that it does not, I don't leave any extra blue at the bottom. I put the green right down at the blue and at the edge. Okay, and now I have my nice little spring lawn. Okay, I'm gonna set my glue stick aside for now, put the lid back on because I won't need it for a little bit. All right, next step, we're gonna start making some of the beautiful symbols of spring. We're gonna start off with the buggies that we have in the air, okay? So in the springtime, the bugs come out from their different hiding places that they had to survive the cold in the winter. So they're coming out from logs and from underneath rocks. They're coming back from warmer places and they're starting to buzz around in the air. So let's get started with the ladybug. For the ladybug, you need to take out your 2 red circles. And we're gonna make this ladybug by taking our 2 circles and we're gonna fold them both in half. So go ahead and do that. Again, remember you can always pause the video if you're not ready for that step. So I just took that circle, I folded it in half. I'm gonna set that one to the side. I'll do the same thing to the other one, taking the circle and I'm folding it in half. Okay, now the next step that I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take my 2 circles and they kind of look like taco shells. That's kind of silly. I'm gonna take my 2 circles and I'm holding them open like this. I'm gonna put the 2 straight sides together like that. Do you see how it makes a full circle now? So that's how I want to glue it down onto my paper, and I'm going to glue my ladybug flying in the air. So what you're going to do to do this step, I want you to actually take your glue, and I'd like you to put glue a little circle where you want that ladybug to go. So remember, ladybugs can fly, so we want to put it up in the air. And then with your circles, I want you to hold it like this, have the straight sides touching each other. I want you to lay those down on that glue circle and line them up like this. So we have both of the circles glued down now, and do you see how it made wings for us? If that part was confusing, go ahead and back up the video and watch it again so you can see me do it again. All right, so now for my ladybug, I'm gonna take out my black crayon and I'm gonna add some details for my ladybug. Ladybugs have dots on their wings, so we're gonna put polka dots on the outside and underneath the flap on the inside. And we're also going to add a little ladybug head and some ladybug antennas. Even though ladybugs don't actually have antennas in real life, but a lot of times when we see them in cartoons, they have antennas. So I'm gonna draw polka dots on my ladybug. I'm gonna do it on the outside flaps and also underneath the flaps too, so that if they lift up, I still see my ladybug polka dots. All right, now I have my beautiful little ladybug. It's all polka dotted, but I still need to make the ladybug head. So I'm gonna make that up at the top. I'm gonna do a little rainbow shape line and fill it in for the head, just a little one. And then I'm gonna do some curly antennas coming off the top. All right, and my ladybug is done now. All right, let's work on the bumblebee next. This step is going to be very similar to what we already did. So for this step, you're going to need 2 yellow circles. You have a lot of yellow circles for another part. Just leave that off to the side. You only need 2 of them. Just like the ladybug, we're gonna start by folding both circles in half. Okay, and then bumblebees like to fly, so we're gonna want to glue our bumblebee down somewhere else up in the air. I'm gonna glue it down over in the opposite part of my paper over here. Just like the ladybug, we're gonna line up our half folded circles with the straight sides touching each other. We're going to put a circle of glue where we want that bumblebee to go on our blue paper. And then we're going to line up our circles with the straight sides touching each other so that we make our little bumblebee wings. Okay? All right, now bumblebees have what pattern on them? Bumblebees have stripes. So we're gonna make stripes on our bumblebee, just like the ladybug. We're gonna do it on top of the wings and also underneath the wings. So go ahead and get that black crayon back out, and we're gonna make our bumblebee stripes. Now I want you to see, I'm holding mine down as I do this so it doesn't spread apart, and I'm drawing straight lines all the way across my bumblebee. All right, I'm gonna now do it underneath as well. Mine moved a little bit. Try to hold that down better. I'm gonna do it on the other side also. If yours is moving around like mine is, that's okay, just put it back in place. Our glue is still wet, so it'll be okay. All right, now I have my beautiful little bumblebee, but he's not finished yet. What is my bumblebee missing? He's missing a head. So just like our ladybug head, we're gonna do the same thing for our little bumblebee. So draw that rainbow shape and fill it in. And then you can do some curly antennas coming off the bumblebee if you'd like. Now bumblebees often also have a stinger. So I'm gonna draw a little black line at the bottom of it for the bumblebee stinger, okay? Now we have our ladybugs and our bumblebees done. Great job. All right, let's get another hard one out of the way. Probably the hardest one of this whole project is the little chick hatching from an egg. Now in the springtime is when a lot of baby birds hatch. Their moms have been sitting on the eggs, keeping them warm all through the winter, and in the springtime those baby birds will hatch. So we see a lot of eggs hatching in the spring. So for this you're going to need one white circle and one yellow circle. We're gonna work with the yellow circle first. What I'd like you to do is decide, where do you want your chick to be? Now chicks, they need to be on the ground, not floating in the air. Most often they're in nests though, but we don't have a nest to draw. So we're gonna put our chick in the ground. And what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put my yellow chickadee over here, and I don't want to glue it on top of the grass, but I do want to glue it close to the grass, okay? We're gonna end up taking the white circle and kind of putting it under like this in a minute. So just make sure that you do not glue the yellow on top of the grass. It just needs to be right above the grass, okay? So I'm gonna do mine off over here. I'm gonna put a little circle of glue where I want my chick to go. I'm gluing the yellow down there right above the grass, but not on top, okay? All right. So now with my white, like I told you, this is probably the most complicated part of the whole project. You're going to need your pencil. So if you don't have your pencil, pause the video and go get it. All right, we're gonna draw a zigzag line all the way across the circle so that we can cut it apart and make it look like our egg has hatched. So with your pencil, go ahead. I'm gonna set my project off to the side so I don't accidentally draw on it. We're gonna draw a zigzag line across our white circle. Then we're gonna cut along that line. Now you might need to, every cut you make, take your scissors out and turn your project and then put your scissors back in. If you need help on this step, it might be a good time to go get a brother or sister, an older sibling, or an adult to help you if you're having trouble with this step. So if you are, go ahead and pause the video, go get some help, and then come back. All right, so I want you to, now this is our eggshell. You see if we put it together, it's a full circle. And if we take it apart, it looks like a broken eggshell. Really cool, right? So this side is dirty now because I drew pencil marks on it. So what I'm gonna do is when I'm gluing it down, I'm gonna actually flip it to the other side. So for your little chickadee, we're gonna pause on the eggshell for a moment. We're gonna draw some details for our chick, okay? We are going to need to get out our black crayon, and in the middle, actually no, sorry, we're gonna stop. Put your black crayon down. We're gonna glue this part down first. I want you to do that so that you don't glue over your details. So what you're gonna need to do with your glue stick, at the top of the yellow circle and at the bottom of the yellow circle, you're gonna put a little bit of glue, okay? Just at the top, and it's okay if it gets on the blue page. And then at the bottom, kind of lift up your grass a little bit and put the glue at the bottom. Okay, now hold your finger with the grass above it and take one of your eggshell pieces, flip it over so it's the clean side, and I want you to glue it down to where you just put that glue. Now, do the best you can to line up your egg shell so that it's even with your chick, okay? Then you're gonna do the same thing to the top. Take your top piece, flip it over so it's on the clean side, and glue it down to the top of the chickadee. If you are not finished, go ahead and pause the video. And let's continue. All right, so I'm now gonna draw the details for my chick. We're gonna give the chick some eyes, a beak, and some wings, okay? So with my black crayon, I'm gonna draw 2 little chick eyes. I'm gonna draw a little triangle for the chick's beak. And I'm going to draw some loops for its wings, for its little chickadee wings. So cute. You guys are doing a great job, I'm sure. I would love to see pictures of your projects when you're all done. Okay, so we have 2 more details to make for our picture before we're all done. The next one is going to be a bunny rabbit. So you should have 1 more white paper. We're gonna make a bunny rabbit. This is, I think, one of my favorite ones on this whole page. So again, we're gonna make the bunny rabbit hopping through the grass. We're gonna wanna make it look like he's in the grass a little bit. So what you're gonna do, like we did before, you're going to lift up the grass a little bit if you can. If that's too hard, it's okay. But if you can lift up the grass a little bit, draw a circle of glue where you want your bunny to go. And then stick that white circle on there and let go of the grass. When you do, your white circle is a little bit under the grass now. Okay, so for our little bunny rabbit, we need to add some details to make it look like a bunny. First thing, what do you think of when you think of a bunny? What details do we need to add? Bunny ears. So we're gonna add some bunny ears onto our bunny. Nice and tall bunny ears. Okay, then we need to add some bunny eyes. We need to add a bunny nose. So draw a triangle shape and bunny lips. I gotta lift up my grass a little bit to make the bunny lips. We need bunny whiskers. I'm gonna draw 3 whiskers coming off of my bunny on each side. And we also need a fluffy little cottontail. So I'm gonna draw a little cottontail coming off of my bunny. All right, now one extra thing for detail. Bunnies normally have pink little noses, so I'm gonna take my red crayon. I'm gonna color a little bit of red in on his nose just to add a little bit more detail to my drawing. All right, next step. You guys are doing a great job. If you're not caught up, pause the video and then unpause and continue working with me. All right, last picture that we're going to make. Can you find which one we haven't made yet? The flower. We haven't made the flower yet. So for the flower, you have 2 choices. Choice 1, you can just leave your flower as a circle. Choice 2, if you want to cut out some pieces from it, you can do that. This step is a little bit hard. If you want to do this, watch me first. If you don't and you want to leave it whole, just hold on for a moment for instructions. So I'm going to cut little pieces out of my circle. Now to do this, I'm going to make some cuts, little cuts, almost like I'm making fringe, but I'm going to make diagonal cuts and cut little triangles out of it. Okay, another option you could also do if you didn't want to cut without drawing a line first is you could draw little triangles all around the outside of your flower like this. And you could draw little lines and then cut on those. So up to you, or you don't have to do it at all. You could also draw curvy lines and make some flower petal curves. So if you want to cut up your flower, either draw and then cut or just cut. If you want to leave it whole because you're worried you might ruin it, I totally understand that. You don't have to do this step. I'm going to keep cutting little pieces out of my flower. This might take me a moment, so sorry if you're waiting on me. I'll try to go faster. Again, remember, you do not need to do this step. This is a little bit challenging. So if you would rather just leave it whole, I do encourage you to do that instead. I'm sure it will look beautiful no matter what you've decided to do, even if you're deciding to leave your circle whole. Almost done. It's gonna look like a little daisy by the time I'm done. All right, so I'm done cutting out my flower now. I'm gonna move my scraps off to the side. If you're not done yet cutting your flower shape, that's okay. You can pause the video, okay? Now our flower is going to be coming out of the grass, so I'm gonna glue it up tall. Now I'm not gonna glue it taller than the bumblebees and the ladybugs. I'm gonna glue it somewhere in the middle there, okay? So I'm gonna glue mine right here. I'm gonna put a little circle of glue where I want that to go. And glue that there like that, okay? Then my next step is going to be to draw some details for the flower. So I'm gonna draw a little yellow center. It's hard to see there, but I'm gonna use yellow to draw a little yellow center and then a stem and some leaves, okay? So go ahead and get out your yellow, draw a little yellow circle in the middle of your flower to be the flower center, and then use your green crayon to draw a stem coming all the way down to the grass, and then maybe some flower leaves like that. All right, so we're done with all of the building part of the project. The last part, if you would like to do, is write a title up on the top. Spring has sprung. I'm going to spell that out for you. If you would like to do that, you can. Spring has sprung is a phrase that we often hear around the first day of spring. So if you would like to do that, go ahead and pick what color you want to write your title at the top, and I'll spell this out for you. Ready? Capital S P R I N G, spring, then make a finger space, lowercase h, A, S, finger space, has, spring has. Next is sprung, capital S, P, R, U, Sprung. Spring has sprung. So once you're all done with that, you're done with your art project. Great work. Go find somewhere special to hang it in your house to celebrate the first days of spring. Great work today. I'm so proud of you all. I'll see you soon.